Greetings, Facebook Nation. Hey, it's Marc David here, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. Happy Wednesday from beautiful Boulder County, Colorado. So today I am going to be having a chat with you about how to be smarter than your nutritionist. Now understand I'm a bit tongue-in-cheek there because I love nutritionists and I'm not trying to insult anybody. However, what I would love to do is to turbocharge in really 15 minutes or so, help turbocharge your nutritional knowledge by giving you some of what I think are the keys to the nutritional kingdom. How to really understand nutrition from a meta perspective. So instead of walking around going, oh my God, I don't understand why there are all these different kinds of diets and different nutritional systems and so many different experts and who's right and who's not right. So we're going to dive into that and we're going to figure that out, because believe it or not, there's some wisdom in here that can help us get a larger or a meta perspective so you can make choices, whether personally or professionally. So you can make choices, you can understand your nutrition, other people's nutrition a heck of a lot better with some of the concepts that I am going to share with you. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be just schmoozing for about another couple of minutes waiting for people to come on. So if you've already jumped on, please do me this favor. In the comments section below, just say your name, say hi, and say where you're from. And if you want, you can send me a couple of hearts and send me some likes. And if you like, you can also share this with your friends and let them know what's going on. So again, in the comments section below, just say hi, what's up, and where you're from. And that kind of helps me get all locked and loaded so I can do my best for you. I also want to tell you before we get going in this conversation that so many of the principles that I'm going to be covering today now are really some of the foundational principles that we talk about here at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating in our professional eating psychology coach certification training. By the way, we have one coming up soon in this winter. Early part of this upcoming year, 2017, we have a new training coming up. So I would love for you to learn more about that. And in order for you to learn more about that, you can email us at info@psychologyofeating.com and we will help get you on a clear path to understanding what's going on. Hello, Miss Kim Burke from Cleveland, and you've enrolled in the training for this winter. Oh, I love you. Thanks so much. And Kim Grossman is here from New York, my hometown. So we always treat New Yorkers with a little bit of moxie. Yeah, I think that's the right word. So, yeah, if you're just popping on, say hi in the comments section below. Hello, Ali. I'm so glad you're here from Spain. So happy. So, how to be smarter than your nutritionist. Really, what I'm saying is how you can jump ahead of the game and start to understand, hey, why are there so many different nutritional systems out there? Why is everybody disagreeing with each other? Why can I listen to an expert and they say one thing and they have all this scientific proof about why their system is best, why their approach works, and everybody's saying something different? It's Charlotte. Hello, Charlotte. Glad you're here. Miss Lindsay Boyce, who is also a graduate of our training, is also here. Welcome, Lindsay. And Kelly Turner from Chicago. I am so glad you're here. Okay, my friends, let's dive in. I really appreciate you being here, by the way, and I'm going to always do my best to make this worth your while. So, here's the deal. Nutritional science, here's what I want you to know. I'm going to just kind of popcorn this out. Nutritional science as a field right now, you know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. It is the Wild West. Everybody's shooting, everybody's disagreeing with each other. There's a lot of dead bodies. There's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of infighting within the nutritional community, in nutritional science. Hey, Kathleen, so glad you're here. There's so much infighting. And why? The experts are disagreeing because we're learning and growing as a human species. We disagree about politics. We disagree about the weather. We disagree about sports. Sometimes you can't even agree with yourself in your own head. So how is it that everybody's going to come into some great agreement about, okay, here's how all human beings should eat all the time? Thanks for saying hi, Emily. And Vanya, thank you from Peru. Oh, that's so sweet. She's also an alumni. I love it. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. So Experts disagree with each other. You know, there's a line, Larry Dossey, medical doctor, who wrote a bunch of best-selling books years ago, one human that I learned a lot from. He once said that for every PhD, there's an equal and opposite PhD, meaning for every piece of scientific research that you can read about why meat is bad for you, you can probably find an equal amount of scientific research that says meat is good. So what you have to understand, you have to have a great tolerance for insanity and ambiguity within the scientific field. Andra said, makes me nutty. Gluten or no gluten, low-fat dairy or no, vegan or no. That's exactly what I'm saying. So in this conversation, Miss Andra, we are going to unnut you. We're going to unnutty you by what we're saying right now, which is to help you make sense of all this. Because you have to understand, just as there are people of different religions, different philosophies, see the world differently, that's what humans do. We are seeing the nutritional world through very specific eyes. Oftentimes, an expert will read their body and translate it onto yours. Kind of makes sense. Yeah, I went on a vegetarian diet. I was vegetarian for 12 years. It was the best diet. I was trying to convince everybody to eat a vegetarian diet because it changed my life. And then at some point, for me, for my body, wasn't working anymore. I was raw food for 2 years. It was the greatest experience for 2 years. Then it changes. So what I want to say to you is that there is no field of science, math, believe it or not, math, physics, astronomy, quantum physics, where there's universal agreement and all these guys in white coats are sitting around nodding their heads saying, yep, we all agree on the same thing. Welcome to planet Earth, my friends. This is we're in a dogfight when it comes to how to live properly, particularly how to nourish yourself. So one of the reasons, especially in research, one of the reasons that research is so contradictory is because the majority, and I don't mean a minority, majority of scientific research these days is driven by industry. It's paid for by industry. I worked in the research field. It's the dirty secret that everybody knows. So you are, as a research scientist, getting paid. You're kind of being nudged to come up with conclusions that support the people who are paying you the money. It's hard to do otherwise. Thanks for jumping in. Hello, Maria. Hello, Danny. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope your family's doing well. So what I'm asking you is to have more space and more toleration, and don't make yourself nutty and crazy when you see so many different opinions. Take a deep breath and realize you will continue to see so many different opinions about anything from now until the day you die. Scientists, by the way, humans get very passionate about food. My grandmother wasn't a nutritionist. She was passionate about food. Both my grandmothers, passionate about food. You should eat this. You should taste this. We love food. We get religious about it. There are more cookbooks, total books, cookbooks on the planet right now than there are Bibles, for goodness sake. So what do you think is the real religion? Now, here's what I want to say to you. It's be patient with the field because it's growing, and have a toleration for uncertainty. So let me give you 3 concepts. 3 concepts that are going to help you navigate all this and help you become smarter than most nutritionists, because I'm going to say most nutritionists are locked into one frequency. They're looking to pin one diet on you, because that's the diet they follow. That's a diet that works for them. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're paleo and you love it and you're an enthusiast, go for it. If you're a vegan and you love that and you see the wisdom in it and you feel the goodness in it and you've seen the health benefits in it, go for it, promote it, do it. We should stop beating each other up, though, around nutrition, don't you think? Hey, Maureen. Yep, more cookbooks than Bibles. I love that. Angela from Australia, welcome. Thanks for being here. So we're here to learn more tolerance for each other. We are here to understand, here's the first principle I really want you to get, spectrum of nutrition. There is a spectrum of nutrition, meaning there's not this one way all humans should eat. There are many ways humans should eat, and it depends on you, your genetics, your nationality, your background, where you live, the climate that you live in, the life stage that you're in, your sex, your level of health. Are you 80 years old? Are you 20 years old? Are you pregnant? Are you recovering from a disease? Hey, Leanne from Australia, glad you're here. So there's a spectrum of nutrition. And there's vegetarian diets, there's paleo diets, there's meat diets, there's all different kinds of ways to nutrify the human body for different people at different times, different conditions. Again, it depends on age, nationality, genetics, climate, the season. There's so many factors. And by the way, if you're saying, okay, well, there's all these factors, I don't know what to do, relax. Because at the end of the day, you're going to take the information that's in your head, the stuff that you learn that's coming into your brain, you're going to breathe, you're going to use your body wisdom, you're going to feel, okay, does this work? Is this good? Is this okay? And then you make your choice. Stop having to have the right answer. Consider your life. Hello, Karen Bender, long time. You say a blast from the past is so true. You're so sweet. It's so glad to see you here. So we are here to learn how to have greater understanding and greater tolerance. So there's a spectrum of nutrition. There's all different ways to eat, and that works for different people at different times. So the next principle is that we change. We change, you change, I change, the body changes, you pop out of the womb. Well, first of all, you're in the womb, your nutrition is a cord coming into your belly. And there's a bunch of blood, basically, with nutrients in their purest form, just about, purest biological form. That's your first nutrition. You pop out of the womb, and boom, hello, Sherry Levinson. You pop out of the womb, and then all of a sudden, you're getting mother's milk, you're getting breast milk, you're getting whatever infant formula you're getting, so there's the perfect diet. And then at some point you transition to mushy food. There's the perfect diet. And then at some point you're eating more solid food, and there's the perfect diet. Now, chances are you've been on all different kinds of diets or nutritional systems or approaches throughout your life. Good for you. Consider your life a nutritional experiment. You're a scientist. You're trying stuff out. Let's do this and see what happens. Kim says, best thing you can do is learn to understand and listen to your body's cues. Isn't that the truth? That's what we're doing anyway. Because you're always listening to either your body's cues or your intuitional cues, your intellectual cues. So you might not know the best person to be the contractor who's going to build your house because you're not a contractor, but you can interview 6 people and use your questioning, use your intuition to feel, okay, I'm going with this guy. So you're the general manager of your health. And your job is to make choices based on combining all of your intelligences. Again, the facts that are in your head, the sensations that are in your body, your intuitions, whatever else you use. Hello, Elizabeth Stewart. Glad you're here. So we change anyway. You change. And all of a sudden, you might be attracted to a vegetarian diet. You might be attracted to a vegan diet, a raw food diet. Hallelujah. Good for you. The challenge happens when people who are smart and who understand science get hooked on a diet and they think this diet works for me. This is where experts are reading their body, translating it onto you. They say, oh, well, this diet worked for me. I lost all this weight. I cured my cancer. I have all this energy. Therefore, this diet works for everybody all the time. And it's just not true. It's just observe. It doesn't work that way. So we change nutritionally. And we talked about the spectrum of nutrition. Also get this. There is no one single perfect diet. That concept, when I say perfect diet, I mean perfect nutritional system, and I also mean perfect weight loss diet. It's the concept in and of itself that there's a perfect nutritional system or a perfect diet. Because I searched for it for years, which is what kind of led me to a lot of the conclusions that I'm sharing with you, because I was obsessed. It's like, okay, there's all these different nutritional systems. I want to know which is the best one. I tried as many as I could. I observed people. I watched people. Elizabeth, thank you for the love. And I just wanted to figure it out. I had no idea that I would come up with the observation, oh my goodness, no wonder I can't figure out which is the best system, because that really doesn't exist for all people all the time, but it might exist for me in this moment. And even then, we're not sure. So we, all of us, have to have a sweet tolerance and acceptance of uncertainty. You're not going to know exactly perfectly. And if you have that demand on life, on the universe, you got to let it go. You just got to grow up. If your clients have that demand, we got to let that go. Because there's no perfect partner for you. There's no perfect this. There's no perfect that. Kim says, it's so simple. There can't be one perfect diet because we aren't clones of each other. It's true. Viva la différence. It's the spice of life. Thank goodness we're not all eating the same cracker every day. This is the perfect food, the new cracker. That would be awful, right? So we're on this planet to experience. We're on this planet to explore, and I believe we are on this planet to figure out how to be the best version of who we are, how to be good humans, how to grow, how to evolve. Carol says, reconnect yourself to your body. I really like this. Hi from Brazil. You're so sweet. Thank you, Carol. I'm glad you're visiting. I got to make it to Brazil one day. It is so on my bucket list. So here's the bottom line, my friends. Perfect diet doesn't exist. Let it go and relax into your nutritional journey. Think of it as a journey. Think of yourself as an explorer. Think of yourself as a curious scientist of your own experience, of your own body. See what works, see what doesn't. Hello, Miss Kalpana. Yes, we're on this planet to be the best version of ourselves. Thank you so much. Thanks for the kind words. So not only do we need to embrace that for ourselves, if you're a professional in this field, you need to be able to look at your client and go, okay, can I gauge for this person? What's a good nutritional approach for them? Where are they getting stuck? Where are they getting caught up in moralisms? I must eat this, but I must not eat that. So, it is a fine line because foods do impact us. Certain foods don't work for your body. Certain foods do. Gluten or no gluten? Well, you can get tested for it. There's some very good metabolic tests to determine where you are on the spectrum of gluten sensitivity, because it shows you how nutritional science thinks. Previously, you either have celiac disease, meaning you're completely intolerant to gluten and it does a number on your body, or you're fine, which is like saying you're either diabetic or you're not. Well, it turns out there's a whole continuum of blood sugar dysregulation, from having a healthy blood sugar level to having a low blood sugar, high blood sugar. So there's a continuum. There's a continuum for sensitivities to different foods. And yes, we can get tested for that. And honestly, the gold standard is eliminate that food, really, if you can, for a couple of weeks, and then introduce it back in. See how you felt when you let it go, and see how you feel when you bring it back in. There's your experiment. And it's a beautiful experiment because you can dramatically turn around your health. You can gather information. That's kind of the times that we live in. We have access to so much information. I'm going to request of you that you do not let all the differing information out there confuse you anymore. If that happens, you can't do it. You're not allowed. Why? Because I've just told you some of the keys that I think are to the kingdom to help you relax into understanding, all those differing opinions. Here's this person promoting meat. Here's this person promoting veganism. I understand. We live on a planet where, something, there are certain people who are far more predisposed personally, emotionally, genetically, culturally to being a vegan. It's true. There are certain people who, gosh, it's tough because they're going against their genetic predisposition. They have no vegetarianism ever in their lineage. And then all of a sudden, here they are, and they're going to change their diet and they're going to try being a vegetarian. Beautiful experiment, but it's a genetic experiment in a certain way. They're going against previously what was happening in their biology. It's kind of what planet Earth is. We're doing things to the body that we've never done to it before, as far as recorded history could say, in terms of what we're exposing it to, good and bad, in terms of all the great things that we have and all the challenging things going on in our environment. So, my friends, I hope this was helpful for you. Somebody's asking, what about Candida sensitivities? Whew, what a big question. What about them? You know, it's certain people are going to be more sensitive to that organism proliferating in their body. And that could be for many, many, many different reasons. It could be because of antibiotic use. It could be because of a poor diet throughout life. It could be because of stress. It could be because of all of it. Bottom line is, yeah, you're going to have to experiment with that. You might want to go on the kind of diet that would help eliminate Candida and see what happens. You know, the body can evolve. The body can shift. The body can change. The body can heal, except when it doesn't, but it's got some amazing resiliency. Hello, Sherry. So glad you're here. I really appreciate it. So, a lot of these principles that I've been talking about, again, I'm going to say these are some of the foundational principles that we cover in our professional 8-month online eating psychology coaching and mind-body nutrition certification training. It's really a great training. I teach it. We pack in, hello, Miss Cielo. I'm so glad you're here. We pack in a tremendous amount of information to help you as a professional learn how to work with people when it comes to weight, body image, overeating, binge eating, emotional eating, endless dieting, and health concerns that have a emotional, personal component to it. And I'm talking about digestion, fatigue, mood, immunity, and others. So if you want to learn more about that training, email us at info@psychologyofeating.com. We will be more than happy to help you. Thanks for the sweet words, Miss Jennifer. And by the way, there's also a number of our graduates, there's a number of eating psychology coaches who are listening in right now. Feel free to identify yourself. Lindsay's one of them. I have a wonderful way of marrying humor and wisdom. Thank you so much, Miss Lindsay. That's very sweet. So I really appreciate you all being here. And please, if this was helpful for you, feel free to share it with your friends. I got to tell you, I am so into using social media in a more transformational way, because I started out being one of those like old stuffy dudes who keep saying, you know, no, I don't like social media, because I saw the things about it that I didn't like. And the main thing that I didn't like, thanks, Miss Cielo, the thing about it that I didn't like is that there's just so much nonsense, and there's a lot of noise that can be on social media. And yeah, we're human. We got to play. We got to do nonsense. We got to do noise. But we also need some conversations that matter, you know. So that's what I'm trying to do here. And yes, we run a business, but we also do a service. And we're trying to strike that wonderful balance of really doing good work in the world and helping people grow, helping people heal, helping people transform, teaching people to help people grow, heal, and transform, especially as it relates to food, body, and health. You know, that's been my path and my journey. So I love it. I love to share what I know. And again, I thank you so much for being here. I'm going to be doing these Facebook Lives probably 3 or 4 days a week. So as long as you have liked our page, you will get notified when I'm going to be online. Thank you, Lindsay, for saying that. Yeah, it's a pretty good training, I have to say so myself. I love y'all, and I really appreciate you. Take care, and I'll see you soon.